On the third day of testimony, in the federal trial involving music executive and entrepreneur Sean Diddy Combs, the focus remained squarely on the emotional and highly detailed account provided by his former partner, singer Cassie Ventura. Her testimony, continuing from the previous day, expanded on the serious allegations she has made against Combs, portraying a deeply troubling pattern of emotional manipulation, coercive behavior, and violence that spanned over a decade of their relationship. Cassie began by elaborating on a violent 2016 encounter at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, one of the key incidents at the center of the case. According to her sworn statement, the confrontation occurred after a night out when Combs, allegedly under the influence and in a fit of rage, chased her down a hallway and assaulted her. The jury was informed that surveillance footage from the hotel shows Combs grabbing Cassie by the neck, throwing her to the ground, and repeatedly kicking her. After the incident, Cassie said she received frantic text messages from Combs expressing concern about the footage and pleading with her not to speak publicly. The messages included statements like, "I'm sorry, I love you, and are you okay?" Communications that she interpreted not only as apologies, but also as veiled attempts to cover his tracks. She testified that this violent behavior was not an isolated incident. Over the course of their relationship, Cassie claimed that Combs established and maintained control over her through a mix of emotional dependency, luxury, and fear. She described a lifestyle that, while lavish on the surface, was filled with manipulation. Cassie alleged that Combs encouraged and at times insisted she use drugs, especially MDMA, to lower her inhibitions during intimate gatherings he arranged, which she referred to as freak-offs. These were private encounters where she was expected to engage in sexual activities with others, often with Combs watching or directing the interactions. Cassie stated that these events were recorded on video and that Combs would remind her of the footage as a form of control, warning her of what might happen if she chose to leave or speak out. The toll on her mental and physical health, she said, was immense. Cassie testified that she suffered panic attacks, deep depression, and a sense of hopelessness during this period of her life. She said that despite her growing discomfort and eventual resistance, Combs would often retaliate emotionally or threaten her, reinforcing a cycle that made it difficult for her to break free. In recounting a 2018 confrontation, Cassie described another traumatic experience. After she tried to formally end the relationship, she said Combs became enraged and physically assaulted her in a hotel room. She claimed he grabbed her by the hair, threw objects, and screamed threats. Cassie explained that she feared not only for her safety, but also for her career and personal reputation, which she believed Combs could destroy with his influence in the music industry. She added that his public image, polished, charismatic, and philanthropic, masked a very different reality behind closed doors. These testimonies were backed by a 2023 lawsuit Cassie filed under New York's Adult Survivors Act, which allows for civil claims based on historical abuse. The case was settled just one day after it was filed, with Cassie reportedly receiving $20 million. However, the current proceedings are part of a broader federal investigation that alleges a wider pattern involving multiple women, significant resources, and the misuse of power and influence. Further supporting the prosecution's case, another witness, Jonathan Oddie, testified about his repeated involvement in the kinds of events Cassie described. Oddie, who once made national headlines for an unrelated incident in Florida, claimed he had been contacted to participate in intimate sessions with Combs and other individuals. He described signing non-disclosure agreements before attending these events, which were held in upscale hotel suites or private residences. According to Oddie, the environment at these gatherings was carefully curated, with luxury amenities, high-end security, and clear expectations. He said it became evident that the participants were handpicked, and while he initially viewed the arrangements as consensual and transactional, over time he sensed a deeper layer of control in how everything was orchestrated. Combs has publicly denied all allegations and has pleaded not guilty. His legal team maintains that his relationship with Cassie was consensual and that any events involving third parties were mutually agreed upon. They argue that Cassie's lawsuit and testimony are motivated by financial gain and that her claims are inconsistent. The defense is preparing to begin its cross-examination of Cassie, which is expected to probe inconsistencies in her timeline, challenge her interpretation of events, and emphasize any documentation or communications that suggest mutual consent. This case has drawn significant media attention, not only because of Combs's high profile in the entertainment industry, but also because it touches on deeper themes of power, consent, trauma, and accountability. As more witnesses are expected to take the stand and additional evidence is reviewed, the trial is shaping up to be a landmark moment in the ongoing conversation about celebrity, abuse of influence, and justice for survivors.